Good morning! Good morning and welcome to another Tuesday tutorial. Okay, today we're kind of mixing a bunch of product. I know usually I stick to like one product, one color scheme, but I'm gonna get a little bit crazy. So today I'm using the Ridiculously Awesome stamp set. We're gonna be using the P.S. I Love You, that set down here. We're gonna be doing some heat embossing. So I have my Versamark and my Stampin' White powder. And then we're going to be using the Snailed It Suite, which is, let me see. Okay, it's this stamp set right here. This is the stamp set. It comes with these adorable little coordinating dies. So there's like a little, like an extra large postage stamp. This die right here makes the most adorable little envelope. And then I have this is like a snail and a little like word bubble, I guess. And then this is just a snippet of some of the paper that comes with it. So we've got the little, the red with hearts, and then on the background there's mushrooms. We've got this snail. This is actually print throughout a whole 12 by 12 page. We've got these. This is also a 12 by 12, and then the back side of each of those. So that's the set that we're going to be using. Okay. So I'm going to start by kind of setting everything aside and then pulling one thing in at a time as I need it, or as we use it rather. Okay, so I'm going to start with our envelope. So this is just a Whisper White envelope, now basic white. I'm just going to start saying basic white, even though mine is still Whisper White. Just I think for simplicity that would be most helpful. Okay, so I'm going to use the heart. Am I going to use this heart? No, I'm not going to use this heart. I'm going to use, there's a heart that comes in the, so I guess I'm using both stamp sets. I'm going to use the heart that comes in the Snailed It. This one right here. Okay, and I'm going to pull in some basic black. So that's going to be some Memento, some, hold on 1 second. Okay, so I'm using Real Red and Bermuda Bay with some basic black, which is just the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Let me get a block, mount my little heart. So I'm going to start with, let's start with this. Doesn't really matter, but this is how we're doing it. Okay, so I'm just inking up my heart here, and I'm going to stamp like in the bottom left corner. Close this one up. Get my chamois. I didn't want to stay on the block. I'm wiping a little too aggressively, I think. Okay. And now I'm going to grab my Real Red. Okay. Clean that off. And close this up. And last but not least, a little bit of Tuxedo Black. Okay. And that's that. Clean off this stamp. Okay. So now I'm going to, what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to take a piece of this designer series paper, and I'm going to go ahead and just put it on the back of my, on my envelope flap. So I'm folding my flap in the reverse. I'm going to start with a little bit of adhesive as close to this flap as possible. And this way. And then I just want to make sure that my hearts are facing correctly. So I want them to go this way. Just going to slide this right in here into the crease. Like so. Oh no, I have no snips. Okay, let me grab some paper snips real quick. Sorry. Okay, so now I'm just going to trim around the outline of this envelope flap. Ta-da! There we go. Okay, so now we have this adorable little envelope with a little flap. Okay, we're gonna set the envelope aside. We still have this inside. So this is a Bermuda Bay, and I just folded it in or quartered it. It's technically a 1/4 of an 8.5 by 11 paper. I cut it in half and then I scored it in half. But this one is opening a little bit different. Usually I would put my cut here and my score here so it would open this way. But we didn't do it this way. So when you cut it this way, you can either have your card open like so or like so. And today we're going this way. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of this guy because he's going to go inside like so. Like so. And I do have this little piece. I forgot to add it. I think. Should I add it? Should I go without it? I don't know. I don't know what to do now. I think I might just go without it. We're going to go without it. Okay. So that's that. Okay, and then I have a piece of basic black and some more of that heart DSP. And I'm just going to layer these together. So I'm going to run adhesive on the back. Layer this on here. It's just the DSP is just 1/8 of an inch smaller than this basic black. So this will go like so. Like that. Okay, and now I'm going to bring over the cut and emboss because we're going to do a little bit of embossing. Let's see, we're doing a little bit of cutting and embossing, I should say. So give me 1 second because I need to make sure that I bring all my little... Okay, so we're going to be doing a bunch of different little things, okay? I have here some Stitch So Sweetly. I'm using one of the rectangle frames. It has like this beveled edging and this really pretty little stitching detail. I also have this little like phrase bubble and this snail. So we're going to cut those 3 things on this papers here, okay? So I'm just bringing over my cut and emboss. Let me make some room for it over here on my workstation. Okay, so we're just gonna layer all of these things up, okay? We're gonna go with this there. We're gonna put the snail here and the word here. We're just gonna run them through all at once, and that is going to, that's just gonna save us a little bit of time. Do it all at once instead of each individually. Okay, so... And these are this is just some of that DSP that coordinates with that snail that's sweet. It's really nice that it coordinates with some of the dies exactly. So there's actually no stamping or anything coloring any of that involved. Okay, now I'm just stacking this carefully on top because I want to make sure I don't move any of my dies. And then I'm just going to run it through. We can get all of these things off. let's move our dies out of the way. Move our scraps out of the way. And then I'll show you what we've got. So now we have this really cute white. You see that pretty stitching detail? Cute. We've got this adorable little snail. And we've got this cute little like heart phrase bubble. Okay, and then I'm going to take the P.S. I love you stamp from here. We're going to measure this. This is about 1 1/4. I'm just using my grid paper to help me measure. I don't know if you guys can see that, but see the measurements are right on top. So I just laid that out, and now I know that I need it to be, I need whatever paper I'm writing on to be the 1 1/4. So let's get some basic black. I'm just going to use this. This is just a scrap. I think it looks like it has some stitching, so I must have used it for something else and then it didn't work out. Okay, so we are heat embossing, so I do have just a piece of regular white printer paper. I folded it in half, and that is going to help us make sure that we don't waste all of our embossing powder. I'm going to take my paper trimmer. Take it up here. First, I'm going to just trim off a little bit so that I'm not working with any kind of, I don't want that embossing detail, okay? And then I'm going to measure 1 1/4, like this. And then this is what we're going to use to stamp on, okay? So I have my white Stampin' and emboss powder, which I'm going to open up. And then I have my Versamark, and I'm just going to ink this up. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp it kind of centered. Like that. Close my stamp pad. Sprinkle some powder over this. Just like that. I'm just going to shake it around so that it gets all over that. Okay, now I'm just flicking it to remove some of that excess powder. Okay. I have just this little tiny spot right there. There we go. Okay. This is where that printer paper comes in handy. It just keeps us from wasting any of that embossing powder. Okay, so now I'm going to take my heat tool, I'm going to turn it on, and we're going to transform this into a beautifully embossed piece. Oh, come back. Come back here. You guys see that starting to change? I love heat embossing. It's so magical. It does get really, really hot though. That's why I had to move my little finger. Okay, and once more just to make sure it's nice and done. Perfect. Perfection. All right. Oops. Okay, I had to grab my my triple banner punch, or banner triple punch, I forget what it's called. Okay, I'm just going to stick this in here, and I want to make sure it's centered like that. That's perfect. Okay, now let's finish putting the rest of our card together. Okay, this is the cutest card. I promise you're going to love it. So for this card, I actually do need some liquid glue. I will be using some dimensionals. And Okay, so let's get started. Let's bring back all these little pieces that we embossed. Let's bring these back over. Okay, so I'm going to put all of these pieces here on this white piece. So I am going to trim this a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to hide this just behind this snail. So I'm going to trim it, and I'm going to trim it at kind of a weird angle, I guess. Because I don't want it to be behind the snail's eyes. You see how it's popping up right there between his eyes, and I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to trim a little bit more. I want my snail to be, yeah, perfect, just like that. Okay. And I'm going to bring over my card front just so that I know where everything is falling. Okay, so this white piece will be centered, so this, oh, that's almost perfect. Okay. Let's run some adhesive on the back of this guy. Like this. Okay, and on this guy, we're going to use some liquid glue because I can't get my regular adhesive to get like up in this eyeball piece. Okay, I got a little bit crazy there. That's going to run everywhere. You only need a little bit. It does dry clear, but you know, it's still nice to only get it where you want it. Okay, set that there. All right, and then I have this little phrase bubble, but I'm going to put some dimension on him, just one little dimensional on the back. And he's gonna go right here. Then I'm gonna flip the whole thing over, and I'm gonna put dimensionals on the entire thing. And of course, I'm probably being a little bit overly generous with these dimensionals, but I'd rather have too many than not enough. Okay, just removing some backs here. Okay. And putting this here, centering it up, just like that. Okay, and then one final little step. I have these resin heart embellishments, and I'm just going to use 2 of them. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool, and maybe I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. Okay, and I'm going to put one here, and one here. Ta-da! Okay, there we go. There's my card and project for today. Look at how cute this is. Coordinating little envelope, and then our little card front. How cute is that? All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you check out the blog for all of the details. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, you can shop any of the links down below. Remember, it is Celebration, so for every $50 retail that you spend, you do receive 1 free product from our Celebration catalog. And I hope you guys had a great day. Thank you so much. Bye.